guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome to my channel. For my old subscribers, I would like to say thank you so much for tuning in to support your girl. In today's video, we are going to be talking about how to manage your time in school as a nursing student while you work. This video was requested by one of my new subscribers and viewer about how I manage my time while in nursing school, especially that I worked while I was in nursing school. Now, put this out. At the beginning of my actual nursing program, for the first year, I did not work. But during my prerequisites, I worked throughout. And for my last year of my nursing program, I did work. I was a PRN, but I worked full-time hours. Even though I was a PRN, I still met my full-time hours. But being a PRN allowed me to choose my days I wanted to work, which I will talk about in helping you guys see how you can manage your time while working and being in nursing school. So if you're interested in getting to know or having more idea on what you can do if you're planning to go to nursing school, or you're already in nursing school and you're juggling with your activity, whether you have family, you have kids, you have a husband or a significant other, then stay tuned. Let's talk about this. My first suggestion on how to manage your time is cutting out unnecessary activities. So what does that mean? We know now with social media, a lot of us spend so much time, including me, on social media. So if you want to be in nursing school and have a full social media life, it's kind of a struggle. So I would suggest that you balance it. It doesn't mean you have to cut out yourself from your social media platform, but you need to do it in a balanced way where you have time to study, to do your work, and to also be able to do those things that you still enjoy doing. So what I did, because this video is about how I manage my time, most times I will do social media, like if I'm on campus and we have a little break. Sometimes we'll take breaks and stuff, and I don't have, let's say, a day that I've already done my exam, or even on regular days, honestly, because we did not have regular days, pretty much. Most of our class days were days that we had exams in the morning. So after that, my brain was a little bit relaxed, other than being stressed that I was going to fail or whatever, depending on how the exam was. But at least I knew that I had that time, a day of, I'm done with this exam, what next? So yeah, so I will use that time during breaks, check on my Facebook. I'm not big on Instagram. I'm getting used to using Instagram, but my big platform is Facebook. You will see a lot of stuff about me on Facebook. So yeah, so I will go to Facebook, check out posts and stuff like that. Then we'll go back to class. At least I know I've gotten the gist of what's on Facebook. So you can do that. You can still have a social media life in between breaks and stuff. You can still catch up with friends and families. Another thing I did to help me manage my time was making recordings of lectures, or even recording myself repeating things for like my lab work and stuff. If I had like a skill that I wanted to get or hang of, like the steps in which to do it, which in nursing school you do have both your theoretical part and also your practical. So with practical stuff, I will make a video of myself speaking like I'm teaching someone. So I have that recorded. Then I will play it as I wash my dishes, or as I'm cooking at a doctor's appointment, or somewhere that I'm just sitting and doing nothing. I'll record my class lectures and also listen to that. But for my class lectures, because they're long, I usually used to listen to those when I'm driving to school, because I lived like close to an hour away from my school. So I will listen to those lectures as I'm driving. So I don't have to be, before I leave from home, I will start the video or the lecture recording and it plays along the way. I don't have to be going back and forth on my phone to distract me. At the beginning of my nursing program, when I started my actual program, I did buy a planner. And a lot of people, you will see, before I started, I heard people, I watched videos about having a planner. So I did buy one. But I honestly did not use the planner like it was suggested. I'm kind of like hands-on. I use my phone a lot as my planner. So I did not use my phone calendar. That's not what I meant. So I will write down my schedule, the days I work, and then the days I'm off, the days I have assignment due. I will do it in like a week. Each week I have each week's activity. I will write it down on a sheet of paper. When you start your program, each semester you do have a class or course calendar, which shows you due dates of everything. So I took that, I wrote it first. When I first started with calendars, I would write it down in my calendar and then take picture of it. But for me, I like to work in a way, I'll have my own way of doing stuff. So I will write it down I'll take a plain sheet of paper, write down my work days, then I write down my due dates for each assignment, or when I have an exam, I'll put it in between. And doing that helped me to be able to choose my days. Like I said, I worked as a PRN. So I had a schedule written down that I made for myself. I made my own calendar at some point. Calendar was a big journal. I had weekly, monthly. So taking picture of that whole stuff, you have to keep zooming, whatever like that. So I did not want it that way. So what I did was I would use my class calendar, write down my schedule, and in between put the days I'm working on the side of it. I had days I was working, days I was off, and days that exam was due on, days that I had assignments due. So I did each week. I did not cram myself. I felt like having a calendar with a lot on it was stressing me out. So taking things one day at a time really helped me with easing up my stress. I did work on some stuff ahead of time, but my focus was prioritizing what's due now, what was due at the moment. If I had an assignment due this week, I will focus on that assignment and get it out of the way. If I had an exam due in 2 weeks, I will focus on I will focus on that exam that is due in 2 weeks, because that's how our exam was. Pretty much every 2 to 3 weeks you have some kind of exam, because we took 2 classes at a time. So when you're done with one, then the other one, maybe you have like a week break, and then the next week was another exam. So I plan my activity in that way, where I'm studying for the exam that is due, not the one that was not due. I'm doing focused studying for the one that was due. I will go over materials of the one that wasn't due yet, but my focus was on the exam that was due. So prioritizing is very important. Prioritizing your work, prioritizing your school work while in nursing school is important. It's a good way of managing your time so that you do not become overwhelmed, because nursing school has a good reputation of overwhelming you. So you want to handle that. And when I first started nursing school, my program, I used to see a lot of my schoolmates have NCLEX review book, NCLEX this NCLEX that. What I would suggest, if you want to start preparing for NCLEX, is great, but I won't overwhelm myself by studying a whole book while doing my nursing program. I did not buy the NCLEX book, but I will go online and then research like NCLEX practice questions about specific topics that I was currently being tested on, or topics that we were discussing. If the chapter that we were discussing was about heart disease or cardiac or whatever it is, I'll put in on Google and search for NCLEX practice question on cardiac disease. Then I'll go over those questions. But I wasn't like studying for NCLEX in that way. But in some way, I feel it might help you at the end of the day when you're prepared for NCLEX. But I will honestly suggest that you don't start worrying about NCLEX at the beginning of your nursing school program. When you get to NCLEX, you're going to cross that bridge, honey. Like, seriously. Yeah, so do not overwhelm yourself. The material at the school is already a lot. It's already overwhelming. So if you can handle your schoolwork and still take a big book of NCLEX and read from one cover to another, go for it. But if you're someone who likes to do one thing at a time, I would suggest that you match your NCLEX studying with the chapters that you are doing each semester. It will actually help you to even get a better understanding of that topic than if you are studying renal disease and you are reading about nervous system. Like, it's just too much information to put together. So I wasn't doing that, honestly. So that is it about studying for NCLEX while in nursing school. It's something that I heard a lot of people saying, that you need to be ahead of the game, but it can also put you on an unnecessary pressure that honestly you don't need. While in school too, you don't want to isolate yourself from your family totally. You want to get your family involved. You want to be engaging with your family, and this is something that some people, including myself, used to feel guilty about. When you want to take a day off studying or a day that I'm not working to go out with my husband or do something, I'll be sitting there maybe at the dinner table and be like, I should have been studying or something. Nursing school has a good reputation of making you feel guilty for doing other things, but you also need that life. You need to have a little bit of social life. It helps with your mental health. So do not exclude it. So what I used to do, my husband works during the week. So on weekends, maybe on a Saturday or whatever that I'm not working, we will find time together, even do something together at home. Yeah. And you can also get your kids or your significant other involved in your study time. That's a good way of engaging, of still spending time with them. Like when I have my certain skills, except the injection, putting in IVs, which he never allowed me to try that on him, and it wasn't really recommended by our school to do that on your family members. So, but yeah. So other skills that you need to practice, you can call your kids. Like when we're doing peace, a lot of my friends who had kids, they will use their kids to observe their bodies and really link what they are learning with the physical human body. So yeah, different things you want to learn about. You can use your significant other, or you can use your kids as a guinea pig. Don't do anything crazy, y'all. Yeah. So, but just regular thing like doing assessment on them, as checking for pulses and those basic things, especially when you first beginning your training. You want to have a real human contact. You can use your kids or your significant other as a resource. And a good way to manage your time is knowing your learning style, how you learn. If you're someone who learn by listening or a visual learner, you can use those ways, either watch videos or listen to audio. Even when I have my book with me, I like to listen to audio and let it just read, and I follow it through, mark my book, especially for my first round of going through a chapter. For my books that had e-book, I already made use of those. If you watch my how to study videos, how to study for fundamentals of nursing and how to study for pharmacology, there are a lot of good information I have in those videos. So if you want, you can check it out. It goes in depth in how I studied, so I'm not going to really go into it right now. But yeah, you can use audios to help you. Like I said, listening to it while you're going to work or going to school, it helps minimize how much time you spend on studying, because it helps you to have a gist of what the chapter that is under consideration is about. And to manage your time well while in nursing school, you also want to be conscious of how much time you work. You don't want to overdo it. So what I did as a nursing school student, I would, first of all, my school was a priority, period. So I wrote down my class schedule, like I explained earlier. Then those days in between that I know that I don't have exam, some weeks I will work 5 days in a row, and the following week I'll work a day. Yes. So that's what I did. You will see me working. Like if I came from doing an exam, it was very tedious though. Like I'll come from an exam on Tuesday and I have been studying all night on Monday. And I went in the morning, did exams, came back home, I will go to work. It was very stressful, but I did it because I wanted that income. I wanted to be supportive of my family, my spouse. I wanted to contribute in any way I can. So I did that. If you don't need to work, if you don't have to work, don't do it. But that's how I plan. Like many days my husband will be like, you don't need to do this, baby. I'm like, I want to do it. I enjoy working. I don't want to say working and making my own money in that way, but I enjoy knowing it. It brings me satisfaction knowing that I have worked and earned something to support my family as well. My mom was like that. Even with my dad doing good jobs back in the day, my mom still did something. So that has left with me. Till now, I don't know how to be that wife that will stay home and not do anything. I don't know. Maybe someday when we have kids and stuff, we may decide that one person stays or balance it out between both of us. I don't know. But I have always loved to work. Always. And that 1 year I told you about that did not work, honey, it killed me. But every time and even during that 1 year that I did not work, I was applying for a job. Like I kept applying for a job, but not like so seriously. And my program was very challenging my first semester, so it kept putting fear in me about working. But honestly, I feel like if I was actually working, I would have managed it. Honestly, I could have. Yeah, but taking that 1 year off was okay. It was okay. So when I got into the groove of working again, I wasn't going to let it go easily. Your girl is a little bit of a workaholic, if I must say. Yeah, but yeah, you can definitely do that. So you plan your schedule in a way that your school is a priority. And another thing I did was, even when I worked, I spent some time, like everybody's job's different. Like I use my break at work to study. I've seen some people who did like home healthcare job, and their job were very flexible. Like I had a schoolmate when we were doing our prerequisites. He worked full-time because his job was a home health job. He just went, took care of the patient, and sat all day just keeping an eye on the patient, making sure their needs were provided. So in between, he had time to study. Like he will have exam that night and still work and come and take his exam the next morning because he had the opportunity to study while taking care of his patient. But with my job in the hospital, I did not really have that opportunity that much to study while at work, but I seized opportunity to study. Like sometimes I will make, like if I have my flashcards, I would take them with me, put in my pocket. If I have any little time to sit in between running in and out of patient's room, I would take that flashcard and just look at it. Like I told you guys how I used to make my flashcards in one of those videos I told you about how to study. And then later on, I started to write my information on a whole sheet of paper, just a couple chapters, important information on different chapters. I will write them on a sheet of paper to help me study. So I would take that. So it's not like I'm taking a whole book to work. No, I did not do that to call attention. I'm sure your management would not like that. So what I used to do, I would write down my notes, important points about each chapter, take it to work. Whenever I had chance, I have it in my scrub packet. Whenever I had chance in between running in and out of patient room, it was a priority to me to at least read through even one page each shift at work. So I would sit down whenever I could and just read through those things, and it helped me to learn a lot because even though it may not have seemed as enough of study time, but those little skimming through those notes that I had already made really helped me remember stuff because I was looking at maybe just one little sentence and then maybe I had to run to a patient's room. While I'm doing all of that, I'm rehearse in my head what I just read from that sheet. So I did that as well. It helps a lot. It helps save time on your studying. It helps you to get some material, some information in during those time while you're still working and earning something to help you and your family. And going along with that, I would say that it's good to break down your study time. You don't want to sit down all day studying. I've heard some of my schoolmates say that they have a day where they just stay home and study for hours. I do not know how to sit down in one place to study for hours. I would do an hour or two, get up and walk around or cook or eat or do something. That's what I did. And then I will go back to it. Even if it's a 15 minutes break, I suggest that you take a break. You don't want to overstress yourself because it's good. I was just speaking to one of my friends who I encouraged to go back to school. She's not in the program yet. She's still doing her prerequisites. I was telling her that it's good to have that anxiety. Mad anxiety is good for you because I feel like if I'm not anxious about something a little bit, it means I don't really want it. That's my mindset. So it's good to have some form of anxiety. Like you have an exam, you have a that's why you see people, they are even stressed on their wedding. It's not like it's a bad thing that's happening, but it's a natural phenomenon. So it's good to have it. If you're going for an exam, I feel like if you're going for an exam and you don't have any kind of like feeling like, oh, this is important to me, I really want to pass, I really want to achieve something, I don't think you can fully do it the right way. In my opinion, it's good to have some form of mad anxiety when you are about to take an exam or something, or you are in school. You need to have that motivation to want to, something that will push you to want to study and get things done in a timely fashion. And a big thing that I would suggest to anyone who's in a nursing program or who want to do nursing, you need to learn to say no to a lot of things, including your old lifestyle, like partying. I'm not saying, like I already told you, that you still need some form of social life, but you also need to tell yourself, no, that I'm going to put this phone down right now and study, or no, I'm not going to hang out with you guys tonight, or no, I'm not coming to that family dinner. I have exams in 3 days. So you need to stand up for yourself. And that's one thing nursing school does for you, or nursing in general. It teaches you to be assertive, to stand for yourself, to, yeah, that's how you develop those skills. Even while in nursing school, you need to be able to stand up for yourself. Because guess what? You're going to be in a hospital tomorrow or anywhere else. You have to face managers. You're going to be in a position tomorrow where you have to stand up for your patients. You have to stand up for yourself. So practicing that on your family and friends is a good start. Yeah. Telling them that I cannot do this week. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't be at this party. I can't be at this wedding. You can nicely say it though, help them understand that this is important to you and you need their support by letting you spend time to study. And you want to plan ahead of time so that you do not become choked up on a lot of assignments. And I know saying this is easier than done, but you have to fight for it. If being a nurse is something that you really want, something that you really have your heart set on, you need to fight for it. So you need to plan ahead of time. You need to cook that dinner ahead of time so that you can have some time and still to rest and still wake up later and study. And for me, I study a lot at night. That's my study time. Even when I was in high school, I like to study at night. When there was less distraction, I would sit up and study. If you're tired sitting up, sometimes I sat on my bed and study. Sorry to my hubby, he had to get used to that. So if you have a significant other that don't like lights in their face and stuff like that, then that's a topic for another day, honey. But yes, he was very understanding. Some nights I just felt like sitting up in bed, straight up in bed, and have a pillow up behind my neck and holding my book or like those sheets. Most times I will use those sheets that I made mention of. I will use those when I'm in bed. But if I had to make notes, so you have to know what you're doing. If I had to make notes, I'll be on a table studying, at my study table. If I had to do assignments where I'm really like I need to type faster, I would be on a table. But where I have just this lazy work I'm doing, some of those projects and stuff that I've already gotten everything together, I just need to just make a quick whatever, I will sit on my bed and do it. And I did a lot of work. Some people will say that if you sit on your bed, you sleep. That doesn't work with me. So if I have something to do, honestly, I cannot sleep. That's how my brain works. Even if I feel like I'm tired and go to bed, I'll be lying over there and my mind will not leave from on what I was initially supposed to do on that task. My brain would not let me rest. So I would end up getting up and not sleeping anyway, going back to that table or taking that book and sitting on my bed and studying. That's how my brain works. So I'm that kind of student. If I have something to do, if it's not done, I'm not going to sleep. But everybody's different. So you find what works for you. Like I said earlier, know your study habits, your learning style, and it's going to really help you in your managing your time and help you to succeed, because the goal is to go through that program after all the sweat, the tears. Some people will say, after all the blood, sweat, and tears, know that you are successful, get that degree conferred to you, girl. Like, oh boy, or whoever's on my channel, like have that degree conferred to you. There's nothing more beautiful as a student to finally, I'm telling you, this is my second degree. I did a program when I was back home in accounting and management, but I did not get to go to the graduation ceremony. So this graduation is officially my first graduation ceremony, because even high school, I did not go to my high school graduation ceremony either. This is my first graduation ceremony. And just hearing those words, like calling me out, walking up that stage, getting my diploma, like it was a hit. Let me tell you guys, like it was a very great accomplishment that I am proud of. I'm grateful for the privilege that God granted me. I'm grateful to my husband for being so supportive, and he still is. So yeah, you need your family support. And for nursing students who have kids, I'll suggest that you swallow your pride and ask for help, y'all. I have friends who ask their mother-in-law to watch their kids. I have friends who ask neighbors. It's hard to find neighbors like that, but there are some neighbors who have they are babysitting stuff that are more reasonable. And besides, you don't have to drive too far away. I know a friend who did that, whose neighbor did babysitting. So she didn't have to drive too far away after school to pick up her kid. She just went right there at home, went next door, pick up her kid. And also check, some schools, like my school, has a babysitting arrangement too. Like I know some of my schoolmates who used to take their kids to the daycare that is right on campus. So they are coming to school, they bring their kid with them and drop them off to the daycare center, so they did not have to drive far. Like after school, they just go and pick their kid up and leave. I know sometimes, like one of the ones I knew, she would have to stay a little bit more, and she would use that time and just sit in the library and study while she waits for her son's daycare to be over with to pick him up and go home. So those are options too. And maybe you will say, I can't afford daycare. But when you get into the nursing program, I will tell you guys more about in another video about opportunities that you can have. But there are financial assistance that you can get depending on the program you're doing. First, I thought it was just certain program. Yes, it is, but in a way, no. But I'll make another video and tell you about how you can get financial assistance while you're in the program, while you are in nursing program, or it's also offered to other programs. So this is going to be it for this video. If there was something that you know that you did as a nursing student to manage your time that will be helpful to others, make sure you leave it down in the comment section. I may have left something out, but that is how I manage my time, because I do not have kids, but I do have a husband, and I did have a job when I was in nursing school. So that's what I did to manage my time and succeed. Okay? Thank you all so much for your love and support. You all have a great day. Bye-bye.